Pet Shop Boys, what can I say about them? Let's see, they came out with West End Girls around 1985, I think. I don't know if I was already out of high school, if I had already graduated. I don't know, I seem to remember it being out and playing a lot during the summer of 1985. Of course, I could be very wrong about that, my memory is. But what can I say about them? Now, at the time, I didn't know they were gay. And I guess technically you could say that at that time, back in 1985, when they released West End Girls, I didn't really know I was gay. I knew I liked men. I'm just saying. I could have said another word, but I don't want to be filthy and get X-rated or whatever on here. But yeah, Pet Shop Boys they were also very, very instrumental for me as a gay man later. So many of their great hits. What Have I Done to Deserve This? West End Girls. Rent, Domino Dancing, All Day, All Day. I mean, oh my gosh. Love Comes Quickly. You have to help me out here. I'm trying to remember if some of these were actually released or not. But I honestly think that when I came out and when it was revealed that Neil Tennant, leader of the pop duo Pet Shop Boys, was gay, the jury's still out on Chris Lowe, but I kind of think he is. Anyway, as a matter of fact, I always like to think that the two of them are lovers, but anyway. And so 1999's Nightlife. Oh my God. I should have the list of the songs in front of me because I don't want to get it wrong. But one of the major songs off of that CD for me personally, and a lot of gay men at that time, You Only Tell Me You Love Me When You're Drunk. Oh my God. It's like, let's just come on out with it and just flat out be real. How many of us have been through that? I love you, baby. I love you. But, when they're sober, they can't seem to say the words. Or even if they do, it's certainly not unheard of to have somebody who's intoxicated to tell you that they love you. But when that song came out, or just getting the album, the CD, and being exposed to that song for the first time, I'm like, you see, there you go. And in addition to other songs off that CD, definitely New York City Boy, which was a huge hit. And especially in the gay clubs. New York City Boy. I'm like, wow. It was almost as if they were like, look, we're not singing about no women no more. We're singing about who we really are. We're singing about gay men and our experiences. So New York City Boy was definitely one of them. Another very interesting song off that CD, excuse me, tickling my throat, was a song called Vampire. And from what I recall about that song, if memory serves me correctly, I haven't actually played that song in a long time, is that, that whole idea of gay men partying during the day, being asleep during the day, especially, of course, on the weekends, so you can be ready to go out at night and be a vampire, if you will, and go suck on something. So that was a very interesting song. I remember what's the other song? Radiophonic. And I know I'm missing the other real big song off of there. I Don't Know What You Want, but I Can't Give It Anymore. Now, not just a gay song, okay? Not just a gay song. That can apply to any relationship, right? But that song was just, oh my goodness. And another one of their songs from that album was Happiness is an Option. And I think that I was really taken by that song because for many years up until this point in my gay life, I was just expecting the man, somebody on the outside of me, to give me that happiness. And you would think that I would have learned that from Madonna's song, I'd Rather Be Your Lover, where happiness is in the palm of your hand. And I always took it to mean that happiness is in the palm of your hand. I definitely get it now. It's like, you know what? You don't expect somebody on the outside of you to make you happy. You have to be happy internally. You have to be happy with yourself, regardless of what's going on, for your own good, closer to heaven. Now, I'm going to segue into the Nightlife song, or I should say, Yes, the song from the White Album back in 2002 that they released, and they finally released this song to the title of the 1999 album, Nightlife. Oh my God, that song! I absolutely wore that song out. People know how to party. Gotta get yourself out. You know, oh, Lord. Once again, it's that whole thing of gay culture, of gay nightlife, and talking about saving my life, so to speak. I was going through a very, 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 very bad time back in 2002, and so this was right around when they actually released the White CD with, oh my God, yeah, Closer to Heaven, but it was like a remixed slowed down version. Nightlife was on there. It was a 2-disc compilation, but some of my favorite hits on there were like Sexy Northerner. I think they released Sexy Northerner because I remember hearing that being played in the clubs. And what else? You had like Home and Dry, Sexy Northerner. Always was such a beautiful song, just very nice and slow and really kind of sad, Closer to Heaven. And then there was Nightlife on there. And I think one of my other personal favorites, on there was Break for Love. Woo, child. How do I say this? Definitely love the song, but it really kind of hit home with me when one of my suitors at that particular time, back in 2002, 2003, I was supposedly dating this guy, and he had told me that he was going out of town. Apparently that was a lie because another old friend, former friend actually, saw him out of the club, and my suitor was singing, but there's a part in the song that says, I love you, I need you, kind of thing. And my suitor was mouthing those words and pointing at my friend. And you wonder why I'm a bitch. And how could I forget about opportunities? Let's make lots of money in suburbia, in suburbia. Please forgive me, I'm screwing up all of these songs by trying to sing them myself. Jack the Lad was, I think, a song that I discovered years later on my own, and I was like really blown away by that song. As a matter of fact, I think that was around the time of the suitor that I was speaking of earlier, when I was involved with this person. Sorry, I won't mention his name, but it just for some reason made me think of him. I don't know why, but of course, songs like Rent, which I can barely pay, and Go West. But now let's dive into those later songs of theirs, and let me just speak of. Actually, let me talk about the Electricity album. Is that the name of it? No, I think it's Bilingual album from 1996, and how I discovered the song Electricity on there, and the song before, which basically says when you're not, love will happen to you when you least expect it, is really kind of what that song is saying. And but those two songs, Electricity and Before, were just like, oh my God. Once I discovered those songs, I was forever and a day playing them over and over and over again. And just FYI to let you know, I am currently stuck on their 2024 album, with such a hit, well, I'm calling them hits, such as Happy People are living in a sad world. Well, I mean, that's to me kind of self-explanatory. What is another great song off of there that I'm always listening to? Well, I think it's the opening track on the song Will o' the Wisp. And then I think there's a song they called Dreamland. And it's just these great disco-y type songs, that I honestly think this particular album has come into my life at the right time, because there's so many truths in that particular CD, nonetheless, that are just hitting there. Or actually, the name of the album is Hotspot. I think they have another album out called Nonetheless, but Hotspot is what I'm talking about with Happy People. Okay, so Hotspot was 2020. Nonetheless is 2024. So those songs that I mentioned before, like Happy People, Will o' the Wisp, Dreamland, songs like that, that's actually off of Hotspot 2020. But I'm here to tell you, there have been several other albums in between And you'll get all this if you read the blog post. That's also going to be released at the same time this clip is, where they just keep making music and they have never stopped. Because there's songs also that talk about dictators. The Dictator Decides, Bullet for Narcissus, which basically says that from the viewpoint of I'm just going to go ahead and say it, from a Trump supporter. Now, they don't come out and say that, but you know that's who they're talking about, is willing to take a bullet for Narcissus or willing to take a bullet for Trump. How sad. So yeah, they talked about social media in their last several albums. As a matter of fact, I want to say there is actually a song that they wrote entitled Social Media. And it's fantastic. So I'm going to just wrap this up because I know I'm missing a ton of their work. I am missing a lot of their work. We would be here all day because I got to go on and talk about some of these other fabulous artists that I feel are great gay icons. So let me just end by saying Pet Shop Boys, they have always been there for me. Always gotten me through some very dark times. Can we say again 2002, where if I didn't make it explicitly clear, I'll go ahead and say it, and I've said it a couple of times, I was on my way to prison. At least I thought I was, for a felony, computer trespass, whatever that is. But if you want to know the details, I will most certainly tell you. Had never heard of such a thing and did not think that what I did was a crime. Anyway, and it had to do with work, but that's another story for another day. But it was during that time when Pet Shop Boys, when they released not Nightlife, but I call it the White Album, but it's really the release album, the 2-disc compilation. Whew, saved my life. Now let's go on and talk about, it had to have been, I'm gonna take a guess, 1991, or was it 92? Definitely by 93, Supermodel of the World was out. Give me a moment. Yes, according to my notes, it was released June of 1993, the CD. What can I say about RuPaul? Now, before I go any further, I know that pretty much all of you all follow her on the RuPaul Drag Race. I have to be honest, I've never seen an episode. And the reason why is I'm kind of dragged out, and please don't throw rocks at me. And if you do, I'm Wonder Woman, I can deflect them. That's another post for another day, actually, I guess. But it was her music for me. And definitely her first CD, her first album, Supermodel of the World, sporting such hits as, obviously, Supermodel from the World, You Better Work, Back to My Roots, House of Love. Let me see if I can sing it. House of Love. Oh, well, better luck next time. Everybody Dance. And these are I think these are the songs that she released, because I definitely remember there was a crossover between me dancing to Supermodel of the World, Everybody Work, at the clubs, back in North Carolina, at both CC's in Raleigh and Power Company in Durham. Who remembers those places? And sort of it transporting itself here into Atlanta, because yeah, I'm still dancing to that in 1993, 94, and even 95, because I definitely remember dancing to Everybody Dance and House of Love at the clubs, and of course LaWanda Page's part in RuPaul's premiere CD. Hilarious, the spoken parts and all of that. Just so hilarious, you know. Tell the man with the money to come here and pay me. I'm like, ooh, you better work, and just all of that. My goodness. Guys, what are some of her other famous sayings in there? Work the runway, sweetie. You know, just a fun time. And the reason why I'm including RuPaul in this is that, let's be honest, here was a drag queen leading the way. She was fierce, just like she says, just like LaWanda Page says in you know, the CD. You know, just amazing. And drag queens now are everywhere. They are everywhere. And I'm just sitting here thinking, because I definitely don't want to get it wrong, because you know that there were other, you know, however you want to call them, it's a safe space to say, cross-dresser, drag queen, transvestite. I know there are people who are like, yeah, you're not being politically correct. Baby, I'm from the 70s, so shut up. I'm Gen X, so shut up. Okay? The point is, RuPaul led the way. She really just made drag mainstream, in my opinion. Very important, iconic diva, if you ask me. And again, there were others who came before. Liberace, but Liberace was not coming out as a drag queen. Liberace just basically, and I do mention Liberace in my blog post, of course, had the sequin gowns and all of this kind of stuff, but he was not in drag. He was just wearing some pretty fabulous capes and outfits, all that glitter and all the sequins and all of that kind of stuff, but I tell you, RuPaul was just, and she still is. It's just I haven't watched RuPaul Drag Race, but so soon. Moving on, who do we have next?